Hi, my name is Ann Gibbons from Om Flow Yogi, and today we are going to have a yoga practice focused on full body release. This class was designed to support prenatal yoga students, but it is perfect for any population, especially if you need to be a little bit more gentle with your body as you flow. For today's class, before you even get started, make sure that your doctor or midwife has signed off and said that it is okay to participate in a yoga class. At any point in time, this is for any population, make sure that you feel safe and good in your body. If you don't, back up and do what feels good. For today's practice, we need a blanket. You might want two. I'm just going to do my practice with one. You need 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, that's perfectly fine. You can find some shoe boxes, anything that you need that's light enough that can get the earth a little bit closer to you. And then for our last posture, we are going to use a bolster. This is optional. If you don't have a bolster, that's perfectly fine. A few firm pillows will work, or you can take a quilt, roll it up and put it in a pillowcase so that way you have a firm surface to support. All right, let's get releasing. If you're still looking for your props, go ahead and pause. Otherwise, if you're set, get your blanket all set and sit on your blanket and get yourself situated and settled in your practice. Closing the eyes if that feels safe to you. If it doesn't, you can have a light gaze in front of you. Moving the body just a little bit, rolling the shoulders down the back until you feel like you've arrived in your body. And we always start every class with centering. So just start to notice the breath as it flows in and out of your body. And then begin to scan your body for spaces of tension. And once you identify the part of your body where you feel maybe a little bit more tension, go ahead and tense up that part. So for me, it's my shoulders. So I'm really gonna squeeze my shoulders together, take a nice inhale, and then exhale, let it all go. And feel the contrast of that release in the body. Today it's all about full body release, but it's also about this internal release. So if it feels safe and good, I invite you to think of one thing that you've been really focused on that you can do nothing about, but yet has been in your head for a while. And then ask yourself, how would it feel if I completely released this concern for just this class? Take an inhale, fill up the belly all the way. Exhale out the mouth, let it all go. Beautiful. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can slowly open up the eyes, and when you're ready, exhale, bring your chin down to your chest. And we're going to start inviting a little bit of movement into our practice just by taking the chin, drawing those little smiley faces on the collarbone, releasing the back of the neck, letting go of the face and the jaw. And then slowly expanding that smiley face until maybe one ear lands on one shoulder and you just pause there. Oh. And then you exhale, bring it down. And then over to the other shoulder and just pause here. Oh. Fabulous. So keep it going from side to side and just pausing on one side, pausing on the other. And just noticing how does it feel to give some love and release to your neck. Make sure you even it out, and we'll do one more each side. And then slowly bringing the head out, meeting back in center. just noticing, how do I feel now from the crown of my head down to my shoulders? Anything different? Slowly start to invite some shoulder circles, and you might hear in the microphone like the crunch, crunch, crunch. Those are my shoulders. So you might be feeling the same thing. And go ahead and bring your shoulders forward. Just letting go. Again, releasing in the shoulders. And then coming back into center. Next, bring the arms out nice and wide. Exhale. Bring the fingers to interlace, pushing out through the palm of the hand and arching through the back. So this is where our spine is a little bit like a Halloween cat here. Gaze to navel. Then inhale, bring the arms all the way up. Make sure you're rolling the shoulders down the back. And then exhale slowly, releasing the hands. Now we're going to interlace our hands behind our back. Inhale. This is where we come into a little bit of a cow spine. And then exhale, release. We're going to do that one more time. Interlace the fingers again, but the opposite way. It might feel a little goofy, the opposite, pinkies down. Exhale, pushing the palms out. Inhale, arms up. Relax through the shoulders. Exhale, hands down. Same thing, interlace, but the opposite way that you normally would. Inhale. And exhale, let go. Beautiful. Staying in this seated position, I invite you to just notice and maybe close your eyes and see how it feels now, releasing from the crown of the head all the way down to the belly. Now let's invite this release into the lower parts of our body. So I'm extending through my left leg in a Janu Shirshasana. But first, so my right foot is inside the left thigh. I'm still seated on that blanket. I really want to support my hips, my low back. I'm going to take my left hand, ground it down into the earth. Roll the shoulders down the back. Take that right hand, just massaging it down to the right hip. I want to make sure my right hip stays nice and grounded. Inhale, right arm up to the sky, and exhale, side bend here. And now feeling this extension and release through the side body. That right side body should feel like you're letting go a little bit. And I love to look down and up and just notice how my neck feels in the space. Roll the shoulders. And then if it feels good, you can stay here. Or maybe just do a little bit of arm circles, reaching back and down. And back up. And I'm aligning this with my breath, exhaling as I go down. Inhaling as I go up. And then I'm going to reverse that circle. Exhale, arm in front. Inhale, arm up. And I'm moving in a way that feels really good for my body. So if at any point in time you're like, those bones feel good, then adjust. Inhale, back up. Now I'm going to take that left hand down the left leg. I'm going to park it where it feels good. Same thing, I want to make sure that right hip is nice and secure in the ground first. And then inhale, arm up, and exhale over. We're going to hold this here. The goal is never to get down to that foot. You'll notice, and maybe you even want to close your eyes if that feels safe, when I'm a little bit more towards the foot, I'm going to feel it more in that lower back body versus when I was doing my side bend over here. So it's just a slightly different release. Test what feels good with your vision. You can look down, you can look up, and then inhale, arms up, exhale, bring them down. Let's switch legs, extending through the right leg, left foot inside the right thigh. So first we're focused on the side bend, grounding down through that right hand, whatever that means. If you have that block handy and it's hard to find the floor, use that block instead, whatever feels good for you. Take that left hand on the left hip. The goal here is to feel that hip nice and grounded before we move upwards. Inhale, left arm up to the sky, and exhale, side bend. In a lot of my classes, this is where I see the shoulders shrugging up. So see if you can relax through the shoulders, the neck, the face, the jaw. And same thing here, maybe I bring in circles. I'm gonna exhale down, inhale back up, exhaling down, inhaling back up. And then I'm gonna switch directions. Exhaling down. And inhale, slowly come back up into center. Exhale, hands down. Now taking that stretch, so we're gonna feel it a little bit more in the back body. My right hand slides down my right leg into a space that feels really safe and comfortable for me to stay. Then from here, that left hip is nice and grounded. Inhale, left arm up to the sky, and then exhale, bending over with the energy towards that right foot. But you'll notice I'm not coming down to it. I'm still extending. You can look down, you can look up. Depending upon where your gaze is, that might change the sensation of the stretch. Now this is where my prenatals, we have the hormone relaxin in our bodies. So we can feel a little bit more Gumby-like. We can feel a little bit more courageous in our stretch. I invite you to only take 80% of your max stretch, and you'll thank me for that later. We don't want to overextend. So making sure you're letting go of tension in your face, your jaw. And when you're ready, inhale, come back up. Exhale, hands down. Beautiful. Find yourself in a wide butterfly. So we don't want to bring the feet all the way towards center. That might feel very uncomfortable. This is a yin style butterfly. And if you want, you can take your blocks to support your knees as well. This is about comfort while opening up and getting a little bit more into that low back body. Hands wherever it feels comfortable. Inhale, slowly bring the chest forward. This is a seated cat-cow variation. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. I want you to take any variation that feels good to you. So if you want to do some barrel rolls here, feel free. Just make sure you even it out and you go down the other side. Now when you're ready, meet in center. And go ahead and have your hands open. If you are prenatal, I invite you to put one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart, if that feels safe and good for you. Closing the eyes, if that is welcomed. And just taking a few breaths here. Noticing the body, the breath. Asking yourself, where can I invite some more release into this practice? Maybe it's releasing some thoughts that are coming up, some judgments about where I am, what things feel like. Maybe it is a situation that's coming up for you. What would serve your intention of releasing? Take an inhale. Exhale, let it all go. Beautiful. Relaxing through the hands, opening up through the eyes. Now taking it into a twist. I'm going to bend through the left knee, left foot on the ground. Right leg is nice and extended. I'm twisting away, and this is very safe and in fact really good for our prenatal students. I'm going to take that left elbow inside the left knee. A little bit of dynamic tension here. So I'm drawing out with the arm as I'm drawing in with the knee. You'll notice I get a little bit taller then. This is fantastic strength and engagement for the inside of the left leg as well as for the left arm. From here, inhale, right arm up, and exhale back behind. And go ahead and look over that right shoulder. This is a fantastic opportunity for body awareness as well. So I want to, even though I'm not looking at that left side of my body, I want to feel that left arm pulling out as the left knee comes in, but in a way that feels safe and sustainable for me. That twist is great for realigning the spine. It's nice and open, so it's safe for baby if we are prenatal. And take one last inhale. Exhale, release. Come back into center. We're going to take that on the other side and notice how that felt. So extending through the left leg, bending through the right. Right arm is inside the right knee. Same thing here. And if you want to look at it first to feel it, and that right foot is nice and grounded. I'm bringing the knee in, I'm bringing the elbow out. I'm just kind of playing around here with, okay, that feels like a stable point for me. It opens up the shoulders more. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, back behind. Feeling this wonderful release, even all the way up through the back of the neck. And again, I'm looking over that left shoulder, but I can still feel this right side of my body engaging. This creates beautiful body awareness. And kind of relax my face, my jaw, even though the right side of my body is working. Fantastic labor prep as well. Take another inhale. Exhale, release, let it all go. Beautiful, come back into center. Fully extend both legs. And this is where we're gonna get into the hips a little bit more. So I invite you to find your blocks. Again, empty shoe boxes work just fine as well. And bending through the knees. So again, if we are prenatal, we do not want full extension. We need to have a slight bend in the knees. Your ligaments and joints are a little bit more flexible right now. We don't want to create long-term concerns. So bending through and maybe even swaying a little bit. We're coming into a relaxing forward fold. We're going to be here for a little bit. So bending through the knees, just slowly come down to a space that feels good for you. So maybe my blocks are on the highest height. That's perfectly fine. And then when you're like, yep, that's where my hips are going, then relax your neck, your face, your jaw, and just let your head hang. Taking a few deep breaths here, imagining somebody has their hands on your low back and you are breathing into their hands. How does that change your breath? And since you've been here for just a few moments, maybe you find a little bit more relaxation, a little bit more release. So maybe my blocks go down a little bit further. Maybe I use my blocks for my forearms. Making sure if you're prenatal, there's enough room for baby. If you want to feel a release all the way down through your legs, go ahead and flex the toes towards the chest. And then you'll start to feel the release in the back of the hamstrings, the calves. You're going to feel sensations where you are the tightest. So if your calves are really tight, you're going to feel it there first. And again, make sure that you can breathe comfortably, that you feel safe here. And again, imagining somebody has their hands on your low back. And you're breathing into that space. And again, if any other thoughts are coming up in your head, things that you can't control, how can you release that? How can you let it go? One last inhale. Exhale, let your mouth let it go. Beautiful. Slowly coming back up into a seat. We're going to go into an all fours position, and then we're going to end in a child's pose that might need this bolster, so make sure you have all of your props handy. Taking both of your blocks or shoe boxes, whatever you need, and knowing that we're going to be on our knees, so arranging your blanket in a way that supports your knees. Finding yourself in all fours and observe what feels best for you. Feel the hips pulling back as the crown of the head extends forward, maybe even rocking forward and backward until you find that placement. Fingers nice and wide as though you're palming a basketball. That will support your wrists. Now if you're like, no, some of my prenatal students experience carpal tunnel or other discomfort, you can come on fists. That's beautiful too. Or maybe we go under flax, and that relieves some of that pressure and discomfort. So find what feels good for you. Taking a few cat and cows here. Inhale, slowly come into that cow shape. And exhale back into your cat. Taking your flow as it feels good for you. And then after your last round, we're going to find a puppy pose. I love puppy pose. It's a fantastic alternative to down dog, where we keep our hips exactly where they are and extending our arms. Exhale, slowly melt the head and heart down. So my arms are active here. My shoulder blades are rolling down my back. I get the same benefit of releasing the spine as I do in down dog, but there's not as much pressure on my hamstrings, on my hands. This can feel a lot safer for prenatal students. Down dog is perfectly fine if you are prenatal, if it feels good, but it might not. So this is another alternative. Go ahead and take a nice inhale into your back body. Exhale at the mouth, let it all go. Beautiful. And then slowly coming back. For our last posture, and we're going to be here for just a few minutes, we're going to take a child's pose. And I would love to show a few different variations that might feel good and supportive for you, especially if you're prenatal right now. I'm going to take my blanket and roll it up to give me a little bit more cushion here behind my legs. That elevates the hips a little bit so it's not too much. I'm going to take my knees wide. The wider the knees, the more it gets into the hips. The closer the knees are, the more it goes into the low back. But especially for prenatal, the wider, the more comfortable we feel, the more room for baby. So I'm going to take it nice and wide. Here's one option. If this feels safe and good for you, you can come from here and slowly walk down and relax. And you can make this restorative. You can bend through the elbows. If this feels good, you can stay there. If you would like a little bit more comfort here, this is where the bolster is going to come into play. Maybe I just take my bolster around all those pillows, making sure there's room for baby and baby feels good. I can come on down. And because of my microphone, I'm not going to go all the way down, but you can let your head go and release. Last one, which I absolutely love. I stack my blocks or your shoe boxes. Just make sure it's nice and stable for you. So I have one on the medium height, one on the high height, and I take my bolster here and then slowly relax down. And again, because of my microphone, I'm not gonna go all the way down, but you can see where if I relax, that just feels so good. So go ahead and find yourself in a child's pose that feels best for you. And I'm going to guide you through a little bit of a release practice to end our time today. For my microphone's sake, I'm just going to go down this way and bend through my elbows. In your child's pose, imagine somebody has their hands on your hips and they're slowly massaging them, putting just right pressure to help you release your low back. Bonus points if you have someone in your house right now that can do that for you. Go ahead and pause this video and find them. But making sure that if there is pressure, it feels supportive. And that the energy of their hands are drawing down the hips through the back of your tailbone. Now jumping into our body, where's a place where you can release a little bit more? Maybe it's your jaw, your face, your shoulders. Where can you let it go? And then lastly, in your mind, what's one thing you can release? A thought, expectation, that you can just let go of. When you're ready, take a nice inhale, fill up the back body all the way. Exhale, let the mouth let it go. And slowly guide yourself up into a comfortable seated position. I hope this release practice served you. If you like this, go ahead and subscribe. We have other yoga practices that we have available. If you would like to work with me, go ahead and go to omflowyogi.com, where you can request virtual one-on-one classes as well as group practices to serve your needs. Thank you so much.